Well, let me ask you, are you ready or not? Well, we were just listening to Ready or Not by United, so whether you are ready or not for today, I hope for your sake it actually is a case of I am ready. Yeah, welcome to Sunday, guys. It is a Sunday morning yet again. Can you believe it? We are at the 1st of December. 24 days and counting, or 24 sleeps, I should say. My kids have been counting down for way too long. A few weeks ago, they were asking me, how many more days? And I'm like, hang on, let me just get through November first. But we can safely say now that we are well and truly on the countdown. Christmas is on the horizon, well and truly. If you're not familiar with us, I am here from Rhema CC. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host here. And yeah, we are a Central Coast radio station who happen to love God. It's a Christian radio station. We look at hope. We love hope. Hope is a good reason for us to get up each day, and I hope for your sake it is too. And if you're joining us just for the first time, second time, doesn't matter, you are more than welcome. We are so thankful that we have you as part of our world, and hope and pray you are getting something out of today. Hopefully today is a reason to get up and you're just ready to embrace whatever is before you. As I said, we were just listening to Ready or Not. So yeah, whether you like it or not, we're headed that way. It's at the beginning of day, and what a treasure. What a treasure to be able to just go, I have been given an opportunity for more, exciting adventures. And life is definitely an adventure. I think it just depends on how we perceive and approach it and what we do with it. What is the experience going to look like for each of us? Hopefully for you guys, it is an exciting adventure. You have my heart and hope and prayers in that. Sometimes, though, it can leave us a little bit unsettled when things feel a little bit too adventurous, can't they? I don't know about you, but I am someone who I love the idea of kind of physical adventure, of being out and trying new things, and then I get to it and I'm like, I'm not so sure. So maybe for you, life is a little bit like that at the moment. I hope and pray you're able to see some sort of clear path through it. And today I actually thought, with the lead up to Christmas, we should really sort of focus on that. So we're going to talk about peace. Peace is one of those things that we're supposed to be feeling all the time, aren't we? It's that sense of, especially as Christmas, that sense of peace and joy and love and hope. And, we talk about this, but really, do we really experience it? Do we really know what peace feels like? What is peace? Well, we're going to dig a little bit further on throughout the day today. We're going to look at what peace is, and yeah, from a scriptural perspective, from a Christian sort of understanding, and more than that, what it means in our interactions with each other, with ourselves, how we can approach the world, how we can deal with the stuff that's a little bit heavy, a little bit tricky at times, and just being able to just remind ourselves that, hey, you know what, we've got a God in control of all things, so peace can fill us completely. Let me throw some scriptures at you. John 16:33. I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation. But take heart, I have overcome the world. 2 Thessalonians 3:16. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times in every way. The Lord be with you all. Isaiah 26:3, you keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, but because he trusts in you. Matthew 5:9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Guys, we'll leave it there for a little bit. But we are going to talk about peace, because it is a time of year that some of us might be feeling the complete opposite. I know for myself, before I got in here this morning, I was feeling pretty much that. I was a bit dishevelled and not quite together. I felt myself, wasn't very peaceful morning. So we are experiencing this together. We are going to pray for it together. We are going to just, we're going to stand in hope that peace sort of just transpires and weaves its way through our world and into those the lives of the people that we touch throughout the day, throughout the week, whatever. It starts with us, and it starts with a conscious mind, a clear and clutter-free mind, I guess. That truth of God has got us. He is the ultimate peace. He will see us through. And that is our prayer this morning. We're back soon. And welcome back, hosties. That was I'm Gonna Live by DJ Madge. How you doing this morning? I hope for your sake you are feeling all things peaceful. We are getting closer to Christmas. Crazy, isn't it? It really is. I know for us here at Rhema CC, we're on the wind down just like you guys. There's some things we're looking ahead. We're looking, sideways, kind of going, how do we cover all the bases of what needs to be done over the next, that crazy summer period where it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just not real, is it? It's just, if you work in an office, you know what that's like. If you work in schools, you know what that's like. If you work in, medicine probably never changes. There's probably a case of there's always something happening. But I think generally we have that little bit of a wind down in the way that we're doing things, but yet we still have to keep focusing on where we're going from there. So, peace is one of those things that would be really beneficial for us to be thinking about today. Peace, what is it? What is peace? Well, I was thinking as I was driving this morning, what is peace? Like if we think of peace, what sort of words do we come up with? Like what's the context around it? What are the words that we sort of sit on if we're thinking about what peace looks like? Some of the words that I've found or sort of thought of myself is peacefulness, stability. There can be a sense of serenity, a quietness. It can be a calm or a calming sort of state. Peace can be just that knowledge that it's going to be okay. Peace can be a stability. It can be a sense of I guess that's the same sort of thing, but that sense of I am stable, I am okay in the moment. Peace can be that quiet in the chaos. Now I think I've used this story actually before, but I do remember myself really grasping what peace looks like or even sounds like. So my husband and I came up here, would have been over 10 years ago now probably. We came up here and we spent a weekend, which was, it was great. But one of the biggest things that I remember was taking out some paddle boats. It was actually down at Avoca actually. And, you've got the noise of the wheels spinning through the water and you can hear clunk, 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 and it's splashing and there's all sorts of things. And then when you just let go and just you just take your feet off the paddles and you just sit there and it's just that sense of nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing to hear. There's nothing to be distracted by. It's just this stillness. Now that's peace. I would say that this year has been one of those moments that I have been most aware of God's peace in my life. And I hope and pray you guys have experienced the same thing. But I look back and I think there have been these moments that have been really, really, really stressful. And yet somehow there has been this peace, this calmness in the situation. An example of that, I got to the hospital the day that my daughter had her accident back in February. And she said to me, she's like, oh, you sped here, didn't you? And I said, no, I didn't. I said, I was very conscious of the fact that I'm in a state of shock, I'm in a state of stress. I'm going to get there as safely and as calmly as I possibly can. And I still don't know how I got to the hospital from what was Gorican at the time and made it into the Royal North Shore as calmly as I possibly could. But that peace, that sense of, no, think logically, God's got this, it's going to be okay. That's the peace that surpasses all understanding. And guys, if you're in a state of crisis right now, if there's things going on for you in your life where you feel like you have no control over anything, where everything is up in the air and you've got no control, you can't move the dots together, you can't cross the T's, you can't make it work. Be still and know that He is God. He's a God who, it really is. It's a wisdom and an understanding that His peace surpasses anything that we will ever comprehend because He is a God who is above and beyond anything that we can comprehend. Peace. Now, I'm praying that over you this morning. I'm praying that you sense peace. Be still and know that He is God. We are moving to crazy season and He is the ultimate peace. I'll leave it there for a bit, guys, and I'll see you soon. 2 Corinthians 13:11. Finally, brothers and sisters, rejoice, strive for full restoration, encourage one another, be of one mind, live in peace. And the God of love and peace will be with you. How cool is that truth? Good morning, guys. Let's just start with that, hey? Good morning and welcome to Sunday. It is hopefully going to be a beautiful Sunday. Let's go with that. I'm staying hopeful for you on that. You're joining us here at Rhema CC. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host here, and I want to say welcome to Sunday. Welcome to a new week too. And that week is this week is the first, hang on a sec, hold up. It is the 1st of December. So we've not only just started a new week, a new day, it's a new month. How good is that? Except for the fact that we've got that crisis thing of, we've got a lot of cramming to do between now and the 24th, 25th of December. Some of you might be feeling that stress of, we've got to make this work. Maybe the finances are a bit tight at the moment. I can totally relate to that. It's one of those things, isn't it? I think you have those waves where you're going, I've got to be a bit more careful at the moment. And maybe your health's not doing so great. Maybe there's stuff going on relationally with your spouse, with your family, extended family. Maybe you're worried about your kids. Maybe there's stress is one of those things that weaves in and out and in and out. And we all live it, we all experience it from time to time, but it's learning how to deal with stress. It is so important. And I think what makes the Christian faith so special is that we can have a personal relationship with God. And that personal relationship then transpires into it becomes this overwhelming sense of, I can just trust this. I can trust the process. I can trust what is happening at the moment. Because yes, God does. He does ordain the good and the bad in that he allows the tough stuff to happen. And he does that because he knows what he wants to do with it. He knows that the strength and the character and the person he's fine-tuning. He knows that in the tough stuff, when we cling to our faith, when we say, I've got hold of you, God, that is when he can work the most. He's got more to work with when we are vulnerable. So in those sense of, that sense of stress, in that crisis, we don't feel a sense of peace. Now, peace is what we're talking about here on our Sunday morning program today. When we don't feel stress, we don't feel peace. Well, it would be nice if we didn't feel stress. But when we don't feel peaceful, we don't feel contentment. We don't feel a sense of ease when there's this sort of anxiety even crippling. Even when there's not something going on sometimes it's just the anxiety of something stirring and I can't work out what it is. I don't know what's coming, but it just feels like something's unstable. Now we can get so focused on the I don't know that we stop. We need to stop that and we need to just focus in on God again and go, whatever comes, whatever happens, whatever, journey you entrust me to, I want to be able to sit faithfully in your arms and know you've got me. And I think that's the ultimate goal of striving for peace. If even if we just use that visual of being sort of taken over by waves, it's kind of that sort of, I think we all sort of sense that that visual from time to time where it just feels like we might be sitting in, a little rubber dinghy or, what do they call them? Those little rubber rings that you can kind of plonk yourself in and sit in the middle of the pool or the beach or wherever you might be. And those waves can start off really gentle and then they can become quite rocky and quite unsteady and we can find ourselves tossing here, there and everywhere. Sometimes we fully capsize. And yet when we have the Christian faith and we have the knowledge that God is a God of peace, comfort, protection, it is in those moments he lifts us up and says, let's start again. Let's start again and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that I am the ultimate peace. I am the ultimate protection. I am the ultimate guide and comfort. So trust me. Now that's a big thing there. Trust and peace. Do you trust him? Do you trust God enough to say, I'm letting go. I'm not going to hold on to this anymore. Now, I'll give you an example for myself. This last week, church life is one of those lives that, it's one of those things, if you work in it, you know it. It can be quite stressful at times. You can feel the pressure from other people to be somewhat performing, and I am not a performer. You'll never see me put on the facade. I'm like, this is the real deal. You're not getting anything else from me. Probably because I have been that person who has put on the facade. I have played the roles. I've done things I've needed to do. And God just kind of chiseled away at that and went, Lindy, that is not who you are. Stop being who you think other people want you to be. Just be yourself. So I've done the work in terms of allowing God to just go, let's find who you are and be that. But when you work in churches, you do feel that pressure. Sometimes you do feel that pressure to be, you feel that pressure to be able to just put on the happy, smiley face and, all that stuff from time to time. You feel the pressure to engage on a level that you don't necessarily feel comfortable. You feel the pressure in lots of different sort of elements. It's one of those worlds that not a lot of people are willing to say that it can be like that, but it really can. And so I felt it. And this last Sunday, no, it was Saturday actually, this previous Saturday, I was really disheartened by some of the things that were happening in the church and just in our church in general. Just you get a bit worn out by the end of the year. I think you get worn out by trying to establish relationships and not always knowing where they're going to go. And the world of church, you have people come, you have people go. You have people come, you have people go. Now, for someone who has still got issues with people walking out, and I actually spoke about this last week, so I'm not meaning to be like that, but I think my passion for staying the course with people comes from my marriage breaking down and things like that, friendships that have sort of dissolved through that. So I know that I carry hurts in regards to people walking out. You guys might be the same. You may have that same element of, I've got to keep my facade up in terms of I've got to keep my barriers and my restrictions up in who I get allowed to get close to because they might hurt me. And that is a reality. When we deal with people, we deal with fragile spirits, fragile souls, fragile minds. We are a broken people, and it is God who can restore and restores wholly, and he restores in the most magnificent way. But that doesn't change the fact that we still hurt when people walk away. So churches, being involved in churches and seeing that revolving door sometimes where people kind of walk in and walk out and walk in and walk out, and it can get very, very hard. Now, Mike and I, my husband and I were talking about this, and I mentioned to him, I said, look, I'm really struggling with this. I don't know what to do with it, because for him, he just goes, that's the church world, that's just how it is, people, this happens, and you've got to love them as best as you can, but be prepared to just let them go. And I get that, love loosely. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt when it happens. So I was forced, I really felt like God was challenging me on this. I feel like he was saying to me, Lindy, you have tried to hold this in time and time again for the last 20 years working in churches. You've tried to deal with this one issue on your own. We need to work on this together, because you need to let me do the work here. You need me to just restore you, to give you that sense of peace, and let it go. Just let it go. Just give it to me. So I did something different. I grabbed my husband and I said, I need you to pray with me. And he kind of looked at me like, what's going on now? And I just said, I am learning a different way. If I say that I want to be a person of peace and a person of trust, then I've got to do what I need to do, and I've got to actually talk to God about this and say, this hurts. I feel like the world of ministry can be really tough. It can beat us around, and it can leave us with that feeling of, worthlessness of, am I not doing enough? Am I not, where am I, all these internal dialogue that is just crippling. I'm not saying this to be a poor me thing. I'm just being as real as I possibly can, because I'll guarantee that your pastors, they've lived this at some point. And it's just I just want to just put it out there. They're people too. They are people as well, and they do hurt when people walk out. They do hurt when things are fueled and it makes things hard on the relationships within the church. It gets really, really hard. They are people too. But when I grabbed my husband and said, I just need to pray about this, and he was like, okay, let's do this. So we sat and prayed, and something shifted. Because suddenly I realised that God had brought me to a place where he was saying, you as a person have been such an anxious spirit, an anxious soul, an anxious mind all your ministry life. Probably more so, even more than that. But in ministry, you have worried about things that just don't matter. So by you now realising that actually you need to hand this over to me, I can grant you the peace that you're after. And he does. He does restore when we just go, I'm letting this go. I will talk to you openly, God. I will throw it at you and say, I don't feel real good at the moment. Peace is one of those things that it can be met in every situation. We think of the day-to-day stuff like like I said before, financial stuff or relational stuff or things that are beyond us, but sometimes it's something within us that needs to be settled. And the best way to counteract that is through prayer. The best way to do that is through knowing and going to the scriptures and saying, hey, hang on a sec, God, you've promised me this. Show me how to get to that point of being at complete peace. I'm ready. I'm ready to experience you fully. So my prayer for you guys this morning then is that you experience that you allow God to go to those places that you're uncomfortable with. That then you expose those to God and say, I recognize I've got a weakness here. I'm sitting in this sense of discontentment. I'm sitting in this sense of not being enough. I'm sitting in this sense of what if. I'm sitting in this sense of, it doesn't matter, every situation is different. Every one of us are in different parts of our journey. But wherever you are at the moment, the powerful part of all of this is you acknowledging what is happening. Yes, God He can and He does, and He will reveal things to us. But it takes us then turning back and saying, okay, God, I'm ready. I'm ready to trust you because I want to experience contentment. I want to experience peace. I want to experience you fully. We'll leave it there for a bit, guys, but my prayer again is that you can spend some time this morning as you're on your way to church or wherever you are, that you can leave behind the week that's maybe been a little bit too hard, that you can leave behind the situations that are a little bit fragile, and that you can just simply sit before God and say, it's yours. I'll see you guys shortly. And good morning and welcome to Rhema CC, guys. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host. I hope you're having a beautiful one. The day is already creeping away. I hope you're up and enjoying whatever is in store for you, that you can wipe those sleepy eyes away and just kind of get ready to kind of kick things off for the day. I have to say a big good morning to those out there who are on their way to church. Maybe you are on your way to church right now. So, well done. Good job. Well done. It's awesome. And thank you for whatever you are doing with your church this morning. Thank you for just the gift of your time and your energy and, whatever you can offer. I know that this region here, this Christian region, the family is it's so beautifully woven. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day. I hope it's all going well. We are talking about peace, guys. We are talking about what is peace. What is peace? Well, that can look different to other people, like each of us on a different sort of scale. I'm going to just run through some of the sort of, synonyms, I can't even say the word, or actually just descriptive words of peace. Some of the things, even if you guys do a little search on Google or whatever sort of, you look up, some of the sort of words that pop out might be tranquility, being in order, being harmonious, feeling like you're in a state of peacefulness, a tranquility, sorry, I already said that one. Harmonious, just a stillness even, just, it's one of those, peace is one of those things that we strive for, and often we don't realise that we are looking for it. Often we have no idea that we are actually needing to find that peace. We are so caught up in what is just happening. I would honestly say that my experience of peace has differed as I have kind of come from the city out towards the Hunter. Living on the Central Coast was such a big shift for me in terms of undoing what I thought was normal in Sydney. Sydney it's just such a fast pace of life. Everything is just this, it's so regulated and regimented, and you have to be in at this time and out at that time. You have to be at this place to pick up this kid, and it's just a different way of doing things. Now we certainly have that here on the coast, but it's not at that level. It's different. And I think by pulling myself away from what I was just doing and just perceiving as normal, I have realised how much of a tailspin I was actually in. You guys, we have a lot of people from Sydney who've moved up, especially in the last few years, probably since COVID. We've got a lot of changes in those who are living amongst us. So welcome, coasties, again, if new coasties. If we're fairly new to you, then welcome again to the Central Coast, and welcome to a new lifestyle, because it really is. It's just sliding down and just letting things that were once we thought was of high importance, and letting go and going, hang on a sec, we can take a walk by the water, we can just breathe in, we can look up at the stars at night and not be, distracted by the street lights. We can take in nature and take in what God has created for us. God is everywhere, and there is that sense of peace in it, that stillness, that need to breathe. If you haven't had a chance to do that, if you are still someone who kind of is in that sort of, you may still be in that situation where you just feel like you're going from one thing to the next. I've been, I get it, I understand. But I just urge you, take some time to just breathe. Take a walk by the water. We are surrounded here on the coast by all sorts of waterways and just natural resources, and it is just an absolute blessing. It really, really is. Be still and know that He is God. He is God. And it doesn't matter what you've got coming up in the next few weeks. I know that Christmas can be quite an intense time for a lot of people. I know that there can be family dynamics there that can make things really, really tricky. I know that some people just want to avoid it. They just want to curl up in a ball and say, I'm not doing Christmas. And I know that as we have that wind up, as other people are getting excited, it can be even more pressure because you might not be feeling it. There might be other pressures, financial situations. It might be a case of, there might just be a really messy situation between you and your spouse. It might just be a really awkward year. It may have been a rough year. It may be a really, looking back, it may have just been a really tough year. So that sense of peace that you're looking for in that setting might be a little bit different to someone who's, spinning in circles and going, I just need to do this and need to do that and need to do this. And I hope you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying there is a different sense of peace sometimes that we are looking for. And sometimes we don't know what we want or what we need. We don't actually know. We just know that we're in a state. And if I've learned anything, it is that God is the best way for us to establish that sense of peace. In fact, we have it written before us, John 16:33, take heart, I have overcome the world. Basically, he's saying there, don't worry about it. It's all good. I've got you sorted. I've already done it. There's nothing for you to, sit on and worry about because I have got you in this moment. 1 Peter 3:11. Now, this is one of those ones that I think, I'll just read it to you and explain. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. There's something in that too. That's a different kind of peace that we might be striving for in our own situation. We might be in a situation where we have caused our own sort of insecurities or own troubles. So then, and this is kind of what I was talking about before, it's that awareness of, I've been there, I've done it, I've made some stupid choices along the way, but I'm choosing better. I'm choosing good because I want to seek out peace. I want to experience peace. And I want to pursue it. I want the longevity of peace. It's actually interesting because my daughter and I were just talking about this the other day. She was talking about that, that sort of need to, the need to find, like we live in a world where we've got a lot of people who we probably have too. It's that instant gratification. We're looking for things that just kind of cover up for now, make it feel good for now. And in reality, it does. There's a lot of things that do feel good right now. But the long-term effects of those things can be what gets messy. And if we look at this verse I just read to you guys, that's kind of emphasizing that. The sense of peace that we are striving for sometimes comes from our own recognition of where we've been, the decisions that we've made, the choices that we've done, the outcomes from those choices, and ultimately what we're going to do from there on. How are we going to flip it? How are we going to chase peace? How are we going to make smart choices? Peace looks different in different situations, but I guarantee you that the peace that you receive from God is a peace that you will not get from anywhere else. And I guarantee you that when we look at Christmas, we can be assured that all peace is, it's a gift, and it comes from that assurance that God's done it all. He did it through Jesus. He did it through a beautiful little baby. And obviously the story goes on from there. I won't go into too much right now, but yeah. Sorry about that. Let's end with this. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Hold on to that, guys. I guarantee you, if you're having a rough day, He's got you. And he's going to give you the peace that you are looking for just by spending some time with him. I'll see you guys soon. That was Beyond This World by Sean Locke. Good morning, guys. Good morning and welcome to Rhema CC. I am Lindy Jones, and I love doing my Sunday mornings with you guys. Central Coast is an awesome place to be. We have just been talking about that, actually. We've been talking about the beautiful and abundant amount of natural resources that we have here on, before us. We're surrounded by beauty. I think that's what's awesome about traveling to different parts of Australia and just seeing God's hands in all of it. It's just so beautiful, isn't it? It's surreal. I went to Hamilton Island a couple of weeks ago, and my goodness, it's just an altogether different beauty. It's just, we've got this gorgeous nation. Our land is just covered in all sorts of colours and contrasts in texture, and we are blessed. We have so much to be thankful for. Now, let me just stay there for a minute. I'm just going to say that. We have so much to be thankful for. What does that do to you when I say those words? We've got so much to be thankful for. Is there a part of you that goes, things are not going great for me, I'm not feeling very thankful? Or is there a part of you that says, actually, yes, we have got a lot to be thankful for. We've got it. I can open my door and I can take in breathe in fresh air. I can take it all in. In other parts of the globe, might not get that. I might have, it's a different scenario. We've certainly we've worked in, not even worked. We've travelled to some pretty polluted places. Let's put it as that. The fresh air. That is a gift. We open our front doors and we breathe in the fresh air. That cool breeze hits us and we're just like, yes. We can walk to the water. We can walk beside the water. We can stand in the water. We can fly 3-4 hours out and we are in red desert. We can fly up north. We can be amongst beach and a totally, tranquil sort of setting. We are just so blessed here in Australia. Australians are blessed. Now, why am I saying this? Because I think it's so important to be thankful. I'm actually doing something at our church this morning. I am leading a family service again, and I kind of was sort of running out of ideas. I thought, I don't know what to do. That's kind of just sort of a theme that just works with anything and everything. And I thought, you know what? This time of the year, every one of us sort of feels a tension in a different way and in different sort of formats. But if we just stop and looking at Scripture, if we just stop and we say, thank you, God. Thank you for the way that you have blessed us in abundance. That peace has so much more of an open chance of sticking to our souls and thriving. So when we're worried about paying this bill, or we're worried about making sure this kid gets this concert, or we're worried about how to, whatever, it doesn't matter. Take a moment, breathe, and say thank you. Say thank you for those tough things that happened this year. Because my goodness, if you hadn't have gone through those, look at where you would not be who you are today. Say thank you for those situations that left you in complete vulnerability before God, going, I can't make sense of this, God. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then he shows up. Thank you, God, because you proved to me yet again you are here. You are amongst it. And you're the provider. You're the peace. You are the ultimate peace. Look back at the year as you get those tensions building between, might be relationships. It might be just frustrations with not being able to make sure everything's covered. Time, whether it's a time thing or just a frustration, or it could be a financial thing, as I said a few times this morning. I know people are feeling it. I do know that there is tension amongst a lot of people. We actually had someone a couple of months ago come into the not-for-profit I work at, and I'm thinking that they were already getting really stressed about Christmas, and I'm sitting there thinking, I haven't given a thought to Christmas and I've got to worry about lots of people. But for them, they were looking ahead going, how am I going to do this? So every one of us carries our stresses differently. We are thinking ahead. We might be we've just got to be obviously respectful to each other and affirm each other and say, yeah, it's okay to be worried about that. But you know what? God's got it. He's shown you already time and time again. You look back at this, even this last year, I'm sure you can look back in your own lives and go, yeah, he showed up. God was there. He was in the room. He was in there when I was in, court proceedings or whatever. All that stuff is really, really stressful. And yet God grants the peace that we need and that we desire, and that gets us up. This is the beauty of something like Thanksgiving, of being thankful. Being thankful inspires joy, it inspires hope, it inspires peace, it inspires all things that are good, love, kindness. I'm thankful for you, so I want to give you more. I'm thankful for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is our key to having peace in all situations. Thank you, God, for giving us Jesus as a little baby. Thank you for surpassing and just absolutely surpassing our expectations. Thank you for knocking out every single prophecy that you set out in the scriptures that were before the New Testament. Thank you for knocking every one of those out to the point where people had to go, who is this baby? It has happened. And we're still able to say thank you for that. That baby grew up to be a pretty important person, if not the most important person most important in my life, and I hope for your sake in your life too. But that little baby, the gift of Jesus as we look at Christmas, we're getting closer. That's something we can be thankful for. And then we can look broader. We can look at all the things in our own lives and we can start to say thanks. And something shifts because suddenly all the fruits of the Spirit start to pop out because we start to see, hang on a sec, there's a link here. When I'm thankful, I'm joyous. When I'm thankful, I'm filled with peace. When I am thankful, I am able to contribute with kindness. I'm able to love. I'm able to love those people I don't really want to love. I'm able to love them because you know what? They have tested me. They've made me think, do I really believe, even the frustrating people that you come across, you think, those people we can say thank you for. Bizarre, isn't it? To be able to say thank you for those ones that we think, great, here we go. I'll say it. It's true. We all have those moments where we just think, here we go. But in all honesty, it is a case of being thankful, and something shifts with our thanks. I want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you for your support especially over the last few weeks as we've been, the 20th birthday appeal sort of thing. It's been awesome to see your support in that. So thank you. Thank you for getting behind what is happening here. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your assurance that you support what is happening here at Rhema Central Coast. Thank you for your donations in lots of different ways. Financial obviously, but I know there's been other things that people have helped out with at different times. Thank you. Thank you. Is all we can say is thank you. Now next week we're going to talk probably about joy. So I hope you're ready. We're going to start, I'm not sure if we'll do joy or we'll talk something Christmas anyway. But yeah, I again just want to say thank you and encourage you to be thankful today, because thankfulness is going to transpire into a sense of peace. And if you're looking for peace in a very chaotic world, you betcha God can provide that, and he will, and he does. Prayers over you guys this morning, and in the week to come, I will see you back here next Sunday. Have a beautiful and delightful one, and many, many blessings. I'll see you then. See you guys.